So we are at episode 50. It's crazy that it's been that long already. We're creeping up on a year, which is just incredible. Like a year ago, I didn't even really have the full concept of this Bones to Bulk podcast. And now here we are just about a year later and going strong. So I just want to thank all of you for listening. I really appreciate it. What I do would not be possible without you. And I want to just kind of take a moment to step back and talk about the importance of goal setting when it comes to your fitness and kind of just evaluating where you're at. I feel like this is a great opportunity to do that with this being episode, 50, kind of a milestone marker. So strap in and get ready for episode 050. Let's go.
I've always been that skinny guy.
Why can't I gain muscle mass?
What do I do in the gym?
They said I'd always be skinny.
This is your complete source for how to gain lean muscle and break out of your skinny body. From nutrition to getting the most out of your workouts and everything in between. We know just how frustrating gaining muscle mass can be, but don't worry, we've got you covered. You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast. Hello, welcome to today's episode. My name is Brian Parody and I will be your host today. And before we dive into today's episode, I want to mention something new that we are launching, and that is the Inner Circle program. You may have heard me kind of mention it previously, and what that is it's basically like having a one-on-one trainer. It's a monthly subscription, so basically what you do is you pay $54.99 per month, and you get access to my complete course. That's full workout videos, that's meal plans, everything you need to know. And then in addition, I will jump on a weekly 10-minute video call with you, and we'll kind of go over the plan, customize it a little bit to you, go over what's working, what's not working, and make adjustments as needed. And again, that's going to be $54.99, but we're launching it in 2 weeks on May 23rd, and I want to offer you guys a great introductory price. So if you go and pre-buy it, you will get it for 25% off. Now that's not just initially, that's every month thereafter. So you'll be locked in at that cheaper monthly rate if you pre-buy it. So head on over to bonestobulk.com. You'll see it right there on the homepage, the Inner Circle. Click on that and you can sign up. With that being said, let's jump into today's episode. So, when you first set out to get buff or get stronger or put on weight, you have a clear goal in mind. You sit down and you're like, okay, I want to gain 40 pounds in a year or whatever your specific goal looks like. And it's measurable. You have that goal, you set it, and you can just go after it, right? But what happens when you either are right at that goal, like you're almost at it, or you've accomplished it, and then you're kind of scratching your head, okay, now what? What's the next step? How do I push myself beyond my current limits? And it's tough. I know people who they reach their goal, and then because there is not that drive, that destination point anymore, it's hard to know where to turn, and so motivation starts to be lost, and a lot of backtracking can be done because there's just not a clear destination in mind. So I want to help you avoid that problem. And, our goals are constantly shifting. You probably, wherever you are on the journey, your goal has probably shifted a little bit now that you're on the path than it did before you were on the path. And that's just part of life. We set out with a clear direction and stuff hits us, and we reevaluate and adjust and maybe take a turn here, take a turn there, and choose a better route. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just reevaluating and kind of rolling with the punches, so to speak. But it's really important to constantly be setting new goals. And the reason for that is, like I said, we can get stuck in a rut to where we no longer have that clear vision. And our goals aren't going to be necessarily as drastic as we get further along the journey, it's not going to be as drastic as, I need to gain 40 pounds if you've already gained 40 pounds. It's going to be smaller goals. Maybe it's to hit a new PR on bench press, or maybe it's just to put on another 5 to 10 pounds, which let me tell you, when you've already hit that goal and put on a ton, going that little bit extra further and just adding a little bit more on is tough, because what happens is our bodies, we reach a point where what we're doing, the calories we're eating, the workouts we're doing, they will get us to a certain point. Then they become more of a maintenance level to where we're still doing the same thing. We're working out, we're eating good, we're eating a lot, and we just see our results kind of taper off. And the reason for that is, again, the body just, it responds to what we're doing, and then it kind of adjusts and reaches this point where it's like, okay, I get what you're doing. I get what you're working out. I get what you're feeding me. So I'm going to kind of cruise. And then in order to kind of push it to the next level, we have to make more adjustments. And all of life is like this, whether it's in your work, with your family, whether it's your education, like everything pivots as we go in life. And so if you're at that point, don't be frustrated with the concept of, well, like it's not working anymore. What's wrong? I might as well just give up. No, like you've made it to the point you're at. There's no reason you should give up. What it takes is just sitting down and reevaluating, okay, this has worked for me up to this point. Now what do I need to do to make more changes to go further on? And often when you have kind of accomplished that goal and you're just making smaller changes, for instance, like I said earlier, you're just wanting to do another 5 to 10 pounds. Often, because you've already made such drastic changes, it's little things that add up. For instance, let's say I'm just going off the example I've been using. Let's say you're wanting to gain 5 to 10 more pounds, and what you've been eating, what you've been working out, it has been steadily gaining, but you start to taper off. Well, simply adding in another 500 calories a day, which may sound like a lot initially, but think about it. That's a couple blender bottles with milk and protein powder in a day. That's not a ton more. But adding that extra in, that's going to be 3,500 calories a week, which is going to be another pound a week, which can push you towards that goal. And oftentimes too, another thing that happens when we reach our goal, we find that that goal wasn't all it was cracked out to be. For instance, I'll use a personal story here. So I wanted to get up to a certain weight. Now, this was after I'd been working out a long time, after I had kind of hit my goal, and it's like, I want to add another 10 pounds. And so I went for it, and it sucked, but I got there. And then once I got there, I realized I don't feel so hot. I felt bloated. I didn't feel like it was a good weight for me. The scale was, the goal that I wanted to hit, but it just wasn't. I was like, I don't feel good. I felt better where I was than I do now. And so I kind of dropped back down to where I was, and I felt so much better. And so it's not a failure if you reach a goal and you realize, you know what, I don't think this is where I'm supposed to be. Then again, just adjust, pivot, and do what you need to do to get to that point where you do feel comfortable and just where you want to be. Because we can often get so consumed with being a certain weight that we forget how we feel. And I preach all the time, and you guys know this. I don't just want to look good. Like, I don't just work out for that reason. I want to feel good. I want to feel healthy. I want to be around for the long haul. That's so much more important even than the aesthetics of it. And so even if maybe I look a little bit better at this weight, but I feel like crap all the time, it's not worth it. So I just want to encourage you, wherever you are on the journey, don't be afraid to set new goals that will push you, to readjust your current goals if need be, if they're not taking you in the direction you think that they originally were. None of these things are a sign of failure. It's just part of the growing and learning process, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I hope this encourages you just to get out there, to try new things, try new exercises, try changing up things in your nutrition plan, adding extra calories in, taking them away, whatever it is that is going to get you to the goal, to the new goal that you're setting for yourself. And try it. There's nothing written in stone that says, well, shoot, I've done this and hit this goal, so I just have to stay stuck here. No, go out and do something different. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, that's part of just the way we're supposed to live life, and just constantly be readjusting and kind of
flowing with where our path is taking us. So again, I just want to encourage you. I hope this helps if you're struggling with goals, if you're struggling with where you're at. You can also connect with me on social media at Bones to Bulk. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Hit me up. I love to talk about this stuff. So if you're struggling with something, if you just need some advice or want a little help with something, definitely hit me up. And also, one last thing, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, I cover a lot of videos that sometimes they're exercises. I just cover a lot of stuff that coincides with what I talk about on the podcast. So if you're on YouTube into videos, check out our YouTube channel and subscribe. With that being said, remember, no matter what anybody has told you, no matter what obstacles are in your path, what walls stand in your way, you can accomplish any goal or re-accomplish a new goal. You've got this.